In the name of Allah, most merciful and beneficent. Today I am going to discuss about the human rights in Islam. The first thing that we find in Islam in this connection is that it lays down some rights for man as a human being. In other words, it means that every man, whether he belong to this country or that, whether he is believer or unbeliever, whether he lives in some forest or is found in some desert, whatever be the case, he has some basic human rights simply because he is a human being, which should be recognized by every Muslim. In fact, it will be his duty to fulfill these obligations. The first and the foremost basic right is the right to live and respect human life. The Holy Quran lays down, whosoever kills a human being without any reason, manslaughter or corruption on earth, it is as though he had killed all mankind. As far as the question of taking life in retaliation for murder, or the question of punishment for spreading corruption on this earth is concerned, it can be decided only by a properly established government. In any case, no human being has any right by himself to take human life in retaliation or for causing mischief on this earth. Therefore, it is incumbent on every human being that under no circumstances should he be guilty of taking a human life. If any has murdered a human being, it is as if he has slain the entire human race. These instructions have been repeated in the Holy Quran in another place, saying, do not kill a soul which Allah has made sacred except through the due process of right to the safety of life. Immediately after the verse of Holy Quran, which has been mentioned in connection with the right of life, God has said, and whoever saves a life, it is as though he had saved the lives of all mankind. These can be several forms of saving men from death. A man may be ill or wounded, irrespective of his nationality, race, or color. If you know that he is in need of your help, then it is your duty that you should arrange for his treatment for disease or wound. If he is dying of starvation, then it is your duty to feed him so that he can ward off death. If he is drowning or his life is at stake, then it is your duty to save him. You will be surprised to hear that the Talmud, the religious book of Jews, contain a verse of similar nature. Respect for the chastity of women. The third important thing that we find in the Charter of Human Rights granted by Islam is that a woman's chastity has to be respected and protected under all circumstances, whether she belongs to our own nation or to the nation of an enemy, whether we find her in the wild forest or in a conquered city. A Muslim cannot outrage her under any circumstances. All promiscuous relationship has been forbidden to him, irrespective of the status or position of the woman. Whether the woman is a willing or unwilling partner to the act, the word of Holy Quran is in this respect, or do not approach the bounds of adultery. Heavy punishment has been prescribed for the crime, and the order has not been qualified by any conditions. Since the violation of chastity of a woman is forbidden in Islam, a Muslim who perpetrates this crime cannot escape punishment, whether he received it in this world or in the hereafter. Equality of human beings. Islam not only recognizes absolute equality between men, irrespective of any distinction of color, race, or nationality, but makes it an important and significant principle a reality. The Almighty God has laid down in the Quran, O mankind, we have created you from a male and female. In other words, all human beings are brothers to one another. They all are descendant from one father and one mother. And we set you up as a nations and tribes so that you may be able to recognize each other. This means that the division of a human being into nations, races, groups, and tribes is for the sake of distinction, so that people of one race or tribe may meet and be uh, acquainted with the people belonging to another race or tribe and cooperate with one another. This division of human race is neither meant for one nation to take pride in its superiority over others, nor it is meant for one nation to treat another with contempt or disgrace individuals' right to freedom. Islam has clearly and categorically freedom the primitive practice of capturing a free man to make him a slave or to sell him into slavery. On this point, the clear words of Prophet are as follows. There are three categories of people against whom I shall myself be a plaintiff on the day of judgment. And these three are is who enslave a free man, then sell him and eats this money. The words of this tradition of the Prophet are also general. They have not been qualified or made applicable to a particular nation, race, country, or followers of a particular region. The right to justice. This is a very important and valuable right which Islam has given to man as a human being. The Holy Quran has laid down, do not let your hatred of a people incite you to aggression, and do not let ill will towards any folk incite you so that you swerve from dealing justly. Be just, that is nearest to the heedfulness. Stressing this point of Quran again says, you who believe, stand steadfast before God as witness for fair play. This makes the point clear Muslims have to be just not only with ordinary human beings but even with their enemies. In other words, the justice to which Islam invites her followers is not limited only to the citizen of their own country or the people of their own tribe, nation, or race, or the Muslim community as a whole, but it is meant for all human beings of the world. Muslims, therefore, cannot be unjust to everyone. Their permanent habit and character should be such that no man should ever fear injustice at their head, and they should treat every human being anywhere with justice and fairness. The right to a basic standard of life. Speaking about the economic rights, the Holy Quran enjoins upon its followers, and in their wealth there is acknowledged rights for the needy and destitute. The word of this injunction shows that it is a categorical and unqualified order. Furthermore, their injunctions was given in Mecca, where there was no Muslim society in existence, and where generally the Muslim had to come in contact with the population of the disbelievers. Therefore, the clear meanings of this verse is that anyone who asks for help and anyone who is suffering from deprivation has a right in the property and wealth of the Muslims, irrespective of the fact whether he belongs to this nation or to that nation, to this country or to that country, to this race or to that race. If you are a if you are in a position to help and a needy person asks you for help, or if you come to know that he is in need, then it is your duty to help him. God has established his right over you, which you have to know as a Muslim. The right to cooperate and not to cooperate. Islam has prescribed a general principle of paramount importance and universal application, saying, cooperate with one another for virtue and heedfulness, and do not cooperate with one another for the purpose of aggression. This means that a man who undertakes a noble and righteous work, irrespective of fact, whether he is living at the North Pole or the South Pole, has the right to expect support and active cooperation from the Muslims. On the contrary, he would perpetrate deeds of aggression even if he is our closest relation or neighbor, does not have a right to win our support and help in the name of race, country, language, or nationality. Nor should he have to expectation that Muslims will cooperate with him.